Welcome. You are here with me, Finn McGill, to talk about surfboards. We're going to talk about my 4 favorite shortboards. We got the Red Tiger, the Power Tiger, the Highline, and the Ghost. They're kind of my 4 go-to shortboards for all of the above conditions, from 4-foot backdoor to 1-foot slop in Japan. So we'll talk about the differences and kind of what I like and what I don't like from each board. This is my Pyzel Red Tiger. It's my go-to kind of small bad wave board. And when there's wind, chop, or when it's soft and small, I love it. It's actually a really good all-around board, but personally I like it more when it's a little bit softer. There's a lot of drive, it's a little bit more flat rocker, a lot of foam up top. It works really well at like a lowers type wave, where it's kind of a softer, I guess not pockety, super tight, powerful wave. That's my favorite. Or Rockies when it's like north and small. You can create a bunch of speed quick, and then also you're able to kind of dump speed and bring it back up to speed. So it's kind of got that Ghost-ish feel, where there's a lot of foam up front, a lot of like swing weight, but when you ride it right, it's like doesn't feel like that. It feels like there's kind of 2 boards in one. And it has that flat, small groveler feel, but then once you kind of put your foot back, you're able to like real just lead foot weight into it. So this is Rocky Rights actually. This is a super small north wind slop day. Not much there, small bully section. But this is kind of the versatility of this board. And they're good drive off the bottom. And you can see I could actually push and lay into that carve section, and the board held perfectly, and then back down straight to the top. And you can see the little release there on that second turn, straight on the dry reef. This sums it up a lot. You get the hold and then also the release when you need it. This is also a good day for this board. This is what I'm always picking. I really like this first turn a lot. Just rips right through and holds, and I can push as hard as I want, and it just holds perfectly, and I don't lose speed in transition. It just kind of floats through with all that push, and then I can come right back down and go right back up. This clip shows a lot about this board. It's a pretty small wave. There's not much power, there's a lot of bump, there's a lot of weirdness. There's not a lot of speed, and yet it goes flat into steep. And I was able to get the speed up and kind of release and push super hard on this board in a small wave. If I were to be surfing small slop in Australia at a contest, this is kind of exactly what I would want to do. I'm not a small guy that can fit in 5 fucking tiny little turns, tap, tap, tap. Doesn't work with my style. So this is what I try to do to get, scores, I guess. I don't have another board that can do this on this type of wave. This is the Highline. It's an older model from Pyzel that I kind of started to mess with and really enjoy. I usually would ride it as a 5'11", but this one I tried out as a 6'0" to see if it would work kind of in bigger waves, better waves. I felt I really, really like this board in a tight pocketed wave. I have a wide stance. I like to use the full rail, even in small wave. So this was that board that I really liked and I started falling towards. This board's pretty good though, in a way of I can do a carve in a real tight area and it floats through it rather than kind of dig. Sometimes you have to draw out your carves longer than you'd want to. So this is kind of that mid ground. This would be the next step up for me from the Red Tiger. It works really well with fitting and fitting into the pocket. Dreamy conditions for the Highline would probably be like a chest to head high steep pocket. I absolutely love that board in an Alamoana Bowls. It's a very tight pocket that you want to get release but also get control quick. I was able to not like super draw out lines. I can kind of cut them a little bit short and still get a big top turn. So I really enjoyed it in Alamoana Bowls. It also works really, really well in beach breaks. Like an Oz beach break would be kind of ideal, or like France, like Hossegor area, where you get the tight, you can have, you know, barrel sections, but you can also come out and rip it. So this is what I've been working on a lot with Ross Williams, my coach, is I tend to try to kill when I stand up. My brain is just wired that way. It's just like stand up, kill. This clip is one of those ones where I really was focused on working on. It's instead of standing up, kill, it's stand up and kind of place your turns in the right spot and make sure you have clean edges. So I come up and it's a bouncy, wobbly section and it floats well through that tight carve. And there's a lot of spray and draw, but this second turn, this closeout turn is nice because is something I've never been good at, of like kind of just placement. WSL judges would jizz on that shit. They love that shit. That first section, the first carve is exactly what I was talking about with the Highline. It fits real nice in a tight pocket. I can go up to a steep section and kind of rip through and carve through, and I can turn over and the board flexes and kind of fits in that pocket instead of having to like stay above your board and pivot more. I can just stay on rail through that. Rocky rights on a bigger day, not a bigger day, but like a head high day. There's a lot more speed in this wave than the last few. This is the exact same board. This personally would be the session I would ride the Highline on. It's kind of one of those waves that you can hit a very steep section, but there's so many sections past it that you can also hit. So this Highline was allowing me to kind of rip through or hit those steep sections that I normally wouldn't hit. So it just allows me to gain so much speed off the start. And I was able to kind of hit this carve section that a lot of the times I would just do a top turn on. I love carving, I love using my rail. I don't like to do those little fake tail slides. So I was able to kind of rip through that at the very top of the lip and have my board, the bottom of my board facing up, and it held through that. And you can't really do that with other boards mostly because when you have that, all your weight wants to come down. So the only way to get your board back underneath your feet is how quick can you get it underneath your feet before your body falls back. So I turned it over quite a lot. This board allows you to kind of turn the board over and kind of bring it back underneath your feet, where sometimes when you turn over on a board, it doesn't allow you to kind of come back up. You have to find that middle range. This board allows me to really roll over. So this is my Pyzel Tiger. This board is kind of a mix in between the Red Tiger and the Ghost. I would normally ride the Red Tiger when it's chest high or maybe head high at most. And then the Ghost, I kind of like it to be like a little bit overhead, a lot more power. This is that middle ground where I could still have good control in small waves, but still have great control in big waves. Artwork by Victoria Sabadici. My fault that it's fading because I found pens in my closet that had probably been there since I was 8 years old. So I think they're just a little bit expired. Personally love this out front at Rockies. Kind of only surf Rockies, so that's why I kind of say Rockies all the time. But yeah, let's go look at some clips. Pyzel Tiger, full speed. Ooh, big gaff into a nice little carve. Yeah, that's Rocky Rights. Yeah, I remember this day. This was a rough session until this wave. This first turn was real nice. I'm gonna slow-mo this. So it's just a normal basic wave. Didn't do anything special in the beginning. Had a lot of speed into a steep section. And I was able to just unload and kind of like kill. You know, it's one of those sections where it's just do it, go for it, push as hard as you can. And a lot of times when you push that hard into your back foot on a layback, you're pushing more here rather than like through. You can push too hard where the board will start popping up and over and out of the surface and you lose your tail. So this one sank really well into it and I was able to rip down quick. And I really enjoy that because I didn't find the max of the board. And that was a very high speed section, high power turn, and I was just ripped right through quick. Straight back down, in control, little cutty, and it held well on that little soft section cutty. The perfect in-between of a Ghost and a Red Tiger. That's a day where I would start riding my Ghost, but you know, situations happen, the set of the day will come to you and it's big. You don't know if you want your board to work in all types of ways that day. That was definitely the set of the day, and it held really well through everything that I put it through and performed well. So yeah, I mean, it's a great in-between board from a groveler and like a high shortboard. This would be like the high performance shortboard that most people would be riding. This is my Pyzel the Ghost. This is my shortboard of it. This is the perfect shortboard Ghost. I have many of these and I always come back to it. It's reliable, high speed, you know, just big old gaffs. It's a lot wider up through the board, so the midpoint's much higher. It feels like you're riding a little bit of a step up, but then when you kind of put your weight back onto the tail, you're able to kind of do the more shortboarding maneuvers. So you have that long edge in the water, which makes it feel like a step up, but then and have a lot of more foam and weight up here, but then have the kind of shortboard feel down there. It's a super pulled in tail though. But yeah, high speed, high power, great board. Let's go look at clips. So this is a Haleiwa. This is kind of like the perfect day for the 6.0 Ghost. Kind of a top carb, went a little bit too high, straight back down into a kind of a bigger gaff, and another little top turn. We'll watch it back slow-mo and kind of pick it out. So had a good little bottom turn, little bobble, just a big bump, and then went too high on this wave. I thought it was gonna jack up more. Carved back down, set up for the next turn, and was able to just kind of unload on this second turn. Really like that turn. It kind of at first it's kind of set, and then the second 2/3 of the turn is kind of just push as hard as you can. The Ghost model is probably the most alike to like snowboarding on a fresh groomer with good snow. It just kind of has that edge line, and you can have that speed, and if you have that speed with that edge line, it just it flows so well through all of it, and then yet you can kind of give as much as you want to give to it. Just fucking push, just gaff. This is rocky right's actually a very down the line day. I had a lot of speed going on the line into a closeout section and just kind of laid into it and was able to really extend through it. It's an awkward section, something that you wouldn't normally do on a section like this. I wouldn't be able to do this turn on the Highline or the Red Tiger. I might be able to on the Power Tiger, but I'd be worrying about keeping that edge in. The Ghost, I'm going so freaking fast, taking the most awkward, steep line, and my feet are at my chest level right here at the top of the turn. And I was able to kind of turn over and let the board and rail kind of just carve through that whole section. And as you can see, it just kind of allows me to really like lean forward and kind of take down that like line and just rip right through, and the board goes right back under my feet, zero bobble. I just like that clip. There's nothing really to pick apart on that. It's just like, it works, say, there you go, show it. But the dream wave for a Ghost, it's hard to say. I mean, personally, I would say Haleiwa, 4 to 6 foot Haleiwa, so like 4 foot consistent, 6 foot sets. The 6.0 Ghost, I'd be riding 10 times out of 10, no question about it. The only time I wouldn't ride is if I broke it and I had to go to a different board. So that's what I'd be riding 100% of the time. I also absolutely love it in barrels. My pipe boards too. I have them from all the way up to 6.4s. That board, it can feel like a 6.2 if you ride it in the wrong conditions, but it can also feel like a perfect 6.0 if you ride it in the right conditions. So it can feel a little bit big if you don't give it enough speed. Speed is your friend on the Ghost. If you're gonna get a Ghost, you have to ride it in bigger waves. It's the best board ever if you get it in the right condition. There's no better feeling than having enough wave and speed for that board. It's dreamy. So these are my 4 short boards that I enjoy most. thank you, Pyzel, obviously, for giving me so many boards and so much support over the years. I actually have my first ever Pyzel that he shaped for me when I was 6 years old right here. I found it the other day. It says Barbie on it. But yeah, he's been, you know, a great person in my life and an amazing shaper, and I'm stoked to be back on his boards. And let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns or anything like that. But that's just what I like. Someone could like something different. You can ride different fins on it. Just what I usually do. So, thank you. So hot. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Appreciate it. Wasn't too corny.